Hello, thank you for tuning into my video. My name is Corey Flood. I'm a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from Ontario, Canada, with almost 100 competition matches within the last 5 years. I just made this video in order to share one of the concepts that's enabled me to have some success within the competition setting. As per the title of the video, passing the guard while facing the legs, this is not a concept that I made up. The majority of this video is derivative or inspired by something that I've observed by watching matches or instructionals. Specifically, BJJ Scout's series on Demian Maia's passing in MMA has inspired much of my passing game. This video is about how I've put together all of these concepts, strategies, and techniques together within the competition setting. So why would you want to pass while facing the legs? Well, for me, I'm a larger competitor. I'm about 6'3", and I can find there's way too much space between me and my opponent's hips, especially when I'm just trying to go for an underhook and crossface. But when I flip my hips, I can close the space and prevent my opponent from getting a knee in and re-guarding. Secondly, you can pin your opponent without the underhook or crossface. I find the underhook battle can be quite competitive at times, and this allows you to actually negate their underhook and use it against them at some points. Thirdly, you can use it to pass straight to mount. Under IBJJF rules set, when you pass straight to mount, you not only get points for passing, but also for getting to mount, 7 points in total. So you get 7 points for one single movement. Fourthly, I find it's easy to set up submissions from here, specifically the Kimura. And in many cases, when they go for that underhook, you are in a good spot to set up that Kimura and or pass into a Kimura. So to start off, this is one of the primary positions. This is what's referred to as reverse half guard, where I am basically in his armpit with my elbow or the upper part of my arm or shoulder, and I'm applying pressure on a diagonal. And what he's doing is he's framing while I am trying to push off this leg. And I like this position because it allows me to beat the lockdown without exerting too much energy. Whereas when you try to beat the lockdown with a crossface, it's really hard to just power through that. This is an easier solution to the lockdown for me. And it allows you to pass straight to mount. I go to side control here because this guy is able to do leg locks. He's super flexible and can get you in leg entanglements pretty easily. So this other position is the overback grip. You can see before I have my cursor on the screen, before my elbow was in the crux of his armpit. Now it is over the top of his head, and I am still able to pin on a diagonal. And you can see he's fairly uncomfortable in this position. And I'm able to either fight for that Kimura, and he has to open up in order to fight off that Kimura. So how do you get to these positions? This is one way. In this scenario, I'm feeding his left arm to my right arm, which is weaved in between his legs, and I'm just sitting back on it. Here's another case where I dive to reverse half guard just by simply threading my arm into his armpit, and then I'm where I am at. I start attacking a Kimura, he has to open up, and I pass his guard. Here's another case, contested against a knee shield. In this scenario, I'm fighting off one of his frames from one of his arms, but I'm able to fight off the frame and flip my hips. And you can see, I'll go back just a bit. You can see right here with my cursor, I am hip to hip with him, and there's no space for him to get this knee in to create a guard, which is ideal for me. You can also get to these positions, I find, from transition. It's hard to get an underhook from transition. So you see how he's already swinging for the underhook, so I just go over for the overback grip. This gentleman goes from turtle. He goes to roll, and he's digging for that underhook. I just sit on it. I'm where I want to be. This is transitioning from an octopus guard type thing. He tries to swim for the underhook, but I'm low on his hips with low body position. Here's that first pass again, just to reiterate about pushing this knee down, which allows you to free your knee. And like ideally, like you can see he has the lockdown on. It gives you a lot of time to fight this off. And you can just see I'm peeling my knee. He has to give it up. I go right to side control. Next part of this video I want to talk about is using the threat of a submission to pass. So in this case, having a Kimura grip in order to threaten a Kimura or a straight armbar. And what you'll notice, in order to fight off the Kimura, he has to open his guard in order to actually get out of this, because he is like absolutely pinned. He opens his guard, I get the pass. Here's another case, swim underneath. And as I'm doing this, I'm continually trying to push his left shoulder down so that he is pinned. He's starting to get up a bit. I'm not too worried because I am controlling that leg, but now I'm starting to flatten him out and fight for that Kimura grip. Once I get the Kimura grip, I put it right to the ground, try to put it behind his back. I'm actually trying to get a straight armbar here. He has to open his guard and explode out, but I still hold on to it and get a successful pass. Here's another case. Reverse half guard. So one of the main ways to contest this reverse half guard or overback grip is they have to explode out and time it right. But with a properly timed backstep, and I think I did in the prior clip, you can get enough power to run them down. So I have this overback grip. I am working. I'm pinning my opponent. I'm working on this knee. He explodes out, but I'm able to backstep and maintain the position. I'll try to slow it down. Backstep. He's trying to turn his hips over, but I'm controlling that top leg. And we flatten him out, and we get a successful pass. This is another one of those like transition scenarios. I get to the overback grip. This gentleman is very explosive, and you'll see I even go to my ass here, but then I throw in a butterfly hook and I can transition straight to mount. Here's that prior clip. He's exploding into me. Explodes again, transition right to mount. That's one of the beauty things about this type of passing, is you can go right to mount. Here's what I would consider like the ideal scenario, is that you pass straight into a submission. I have the Kimura grip here. I think I'm working a straight armbar. It's hard to see from the angle. But I put it behind his back. I start working. I start trying to step over the head in order to finish this. I get my hip to his right shoulder, and it's almost about there, and then I'm able to get the finish. Here's another case where I'm in the reverse half guard. He has to pass in order to try to fight this off. And then I'm able to step over the head and finish the Kimura. Here's another case. I'm working to push that knee down, but he gives me the Kimura grip, so I'm willing to take that. I secure it. He has to open up because he feels the threat of the Kimura. Now all I need to do is start working towards the head and stepping over. And then I step over and get the finish. And this is one of the beautiful things about this type of half guard passing, is that You don't necessarily need to actually pass the guard in order to finish the submission. I find you can actually finish a straight armbar right from half guard. The Kimura is a little bit harder, but people will give you the straight armbar while they're defending the Kimura, because like the natural defense to a Kimura is to straighten your arm out, and if you can time it, you can use that straightening of their arm to your advantage and get the tap. Didn't even pass the guard. Again, this is from extension of a clip from earlier. I'm basing out with my one arm in order to maintain hop position. He is really holding onto my leg here, so I'll keep fighting for that. He doesn't want me to come over. He straightens out his arm and lets me finish. Again. I'm actually here, I actually have a crossface here, but I find these frames actually nullify it pretty good. So what you can actually do is capture this arm. Right now, he tries to defend, straight arm bar. One thing you do need to be careful of is counters. And one of the main counters to this type of reverse half guard and well, this type of passing in general is octopus guard. Here's a clip from Jordan Teach Jiu-Jitsu's channel of me and him rolling, where I try to dive in to reverse half guard, but he easily gets up, builds enough base, and is able to take my back. So it's something you need to be able to watch out for. But here is one of the main counters to the counter. When he starts to get up into octopus guard, if you can just crossface him, and in fact, I got a crossface and I get his arm across, so I'm able to have his arm across his body with my body weight on top of it, and I'm able to just go into a pass, just like a little knee slide to side control. Here again, my opponent is trying like the same sort of counter with the octopus guard. Here he is getting up to an elbow, and he's actually blocking the crossface very well, but what he does is he leaves space in his armpit where I can grab an inside wrist. So not only here do I have an inside wrist, but I have a crossface, and this allows me to have really good control and progress to side control. Again, I just want to show some of the framing. He's trying to get up to octopus guard, but if you pin him good enough, if you get high enough during this, you can see he's uncomfortable, and I'm able to pin him and prevent him from getting up as I work. And the last counter I'm going to talk about is what's known as the Heisman escape. I don't have any competition footage of this. It's not that it hasn't happened to me. It happens to me all the time in the gym. And this is basically an escape where he frames on your close tricep, builds base up to an elbow, and basically throws you over himself. And so to counter this counter, I'm going to refer to BJJ Scout's Demi and Maya video, where Demi and Maya, basically when he goes to frame on him, he deflects the frame and moves to a similar crossface as we saw with the octopus guard video. To finish off, I just want to show what I consider to be the ideal sequence. So I was framing on his leg, trying to free my leg, and he goes to underhook, which can be dangerous when they have the overback grip. Trying to underhook from this situation can be really risky, especially when the top guy is low on the hips, in which case I am able to capture his arm and start working to a Kimura. When I get the Kimura grip, I free it, I put it to the ground, I try to put it behind his back. He has to open up in order to defend, and then I'm able to pass, I get the 3 points, but then I'm also able to step over and get the finish. Just to recap, I would say from this video there's about 3 key points. Using this style of passing, you can pin your opponent without the underhook and close that space at the hip, which allows you to be stable on top and not allow your opponent to re-guard. Secondly, you can create a dilemma for your opponent where he basically has to choose between either getting submitted or letting you pass his guard. And then thirdly, this style of passing specifically if you get the Kimura grip, allows you to set up submissions right after you pass, which I think is an ideal thing for the competition setting. I just want to thank you for tuning into my video, and hopefully you were able to take something away from this.